Something terrifying has been on my mind for some time now. And what I've realized at the end of that train of thought has changed my perspective on things quite a bit. Approximately 117 billion humans have lived throughout human history thus far over the past, say, 300,000 years. And over the course of said history, how many people do you reckon are directly responsible for the way we live in 2026? Tens of millions? Millions? Hundreds of thousands? So I give it some thought. But most importantly, we have to first define what responsible actually means. So, to avoid debatable interpretation, let's try to use a strict filter. Let's say that a person only counts if at least one of the following is true. A. They introduced a foundational idea, discovery, or system that scaled beyond their own lifetime. B. They irreversibly altered power structures, political, economic, military, informational, or otherwise. Or C. Their work became a dependency, not an influence. We remove it from society, and modern society as we know it breaks. Well, that automatically excludes most rulers, most artists, most innovators who improved but then redirect, and almost anyone who was merely excellent. History is pretty ruthless that way. So, for the sake of discussion, let's break down these load bearers across 6 different categories. And let's start with the cognitive and philosophical architects. These are the people who shaped how humans think, reason, organize, define meaning. Some of these individuals include Aristotle, Confucius, Plato, Immanuel Kant, John Locke. Without these contributors, law collapses into force. Science lacks method. Rights don't exist as a concept. Most modern debates are still footnotes to them. Then we've got the scientific and mathematical load bearers. These are the people whose discoveries became infrastructure, not just trivia. Some examples include Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, James Clerk Maxwell, Alan Turing, Louis Pasteur. Remove any of these people from history, and modernity would be delayed anywhere from decades to centuries. No electricity, no computers, no internet, no AI, no global finance. That's not poetic, it's mechanical. Number 3, we've got the political and institutional founders. These are the people who created durable systems of coordination. Examples of these people include Hammurabi, Augustus, Napoleon, George Washington, Deng Xiaoping. They didn't just rule, they standardized behavior at scale. Law, bureaucracy, nation states. Most countries today are downstream of maybe 200 templates. Number 4, we've got the economic and industrial inflection points. These are the people who changed how value is created or exchanged. Examples include Adam Smith, James Watt, Henry Ford, John Maynard Keynes. They didn't invent wealth, they invented scalable productivity. Your lifestyle is an aftershock of their decisions. Number 5, we've got the information age accelerants. The work of these individuals compounds everything else. Think Claude Shannon, Tim Berners-Lee, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. They didn't just add tools, they collapsed time and distance, which reweighs every other contribution. And lastly, we've got the prophets and religious system founders. These are the people who didn't just change how humans think or organize, they changed what humans believe reality is. They didn't create laws, they didn't discover equations, but they created moral universes, sacred authority, eternal incentives like heaven, hell, karma, salvation. And that's a different tier of leverage. Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, the Buddha, Zoroaster. Whether one believes in their divinity or not is irrelevant to the analysis because mechanically, billions of lives, thousands of years, entire civilizations, identities, wars, laws, calendars, all downstream of a single narrative ignition point. Every other group listed operates inside reality. These people redefined reality, rewired death, suffering, meaning, duty, created obedience without force, scaled belief faster than any empire. A conqueror can rule bodies, a scientist can rule nature, a prophet rules the internal world at scale. That's the deepest leverage humans have ever discovered. So now the brutal ratio. Over the 300,000 years of human existence on planet Earth, of the 117 billion people to have ever lived, we can guesstimate roughly 5 to 10,000 have materially shaped civilization. A tiny rounding error of our species. That's roughly 0.000004% of humanity, or 1 in 10 to 20 million humans. And even within that group, in all probability, the top 100 did more than the next 9,900 combined. And within that group of titans, a small inner circle itself functions as load-bearing beams of reality. Most humans are not failed world shapers. They were never even players in the game. History is not a democracy, it's a power law. And the people who actually moved the world, they weren't the best people, they were the ones who sat at leverage points. They saw something structural and pushed when no one else understood what was at stake. So this video exists neither to inspire you or insult you. It exists to reevaluate a lie. The lie that history is moved by effort or goodness or popularity or being talented. It isn't. It's moved by leverage. By people who end up standing where a small push collapses something huge. And most humans never encounter those positions, not because they failed at something, but because they were never looking for structure in the first place. Working hard doesn't matter nearly as much as where your effort is being applied. This video exists to make one thing clear. Most people don't fail to change the world because they lack the intelligence or the effort or the talent. It's because most people spend their entire lives inside systems without ever seeing where those systems can actually be altered, what can be changed. And the terrifying part for me wasn't the numbers. It was realizing what they quietly imply about where you might be standing.